right. Today is a special day.
Today is a very, very special day.
Because Smeege is in the house.
Smeege is in the house.
We got Tahliah here. Tahliah Peek, welcome to the Fairview Social Podcast. This is your first visit on the show.
Yep, it won't be the last either. Hopefully not.
No, it won't, because Tahliah and I are going to take over.
We're going to have
We'll see how this-
Jeems and Smeege takeover.
We'll see how this goes. I'll be the judge of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome in. Jeems, welcome to you.
Hey, thanks, babe.
Well, what do y'all got going on since y'all decided you wanted to take over the pod?
Well, we haven't seen each other in a minute, so I'm just so excited that Tahliah's here and we can catch up and talk about whatever the heck we want.
So you can talk about your semi fully retirement.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Tahliah about my semi-fully retirement yet, but it's going well. Like I said in the last podcast, I'm working on my tan.
I love it.
I think it looks good on me.
It looks great.
Whatever, man. You look like you need more of a tan.
I'm working on it, babe.
Okay.
It's okay.
I
We'll
ain't
lay out
trying to get-
together.
Yeah, I ain't trying to get burned.
Yeah, you don't need to get burned, but you got to be consistent with a tan. Look,
How do you think I got what I got?
listen, I'm a professional. Look how tan I am.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent with it.
I got the biggest farm tan of them all.
Do you?
Yes, it's bad.
Oh my gosh. Jack has a pretty good farmer's tan right now, too. You can see his wife beater on
Oh my
him.
goodness.
It's so funny.
I got so burned at the Piney River on Father's Day.
Oh, a little
You went to
Father's
the
Day.
Piney River?
Yeah.
What'd you do on the Piney River?
Did you kayak, canoe? What'd you do?
I did kayak. We took my nephew and his girlfriend and my sister and my brother-in-law, and we all went. And yeah, I didn't put the right lotion on. I thought the
Oh, no.
lotion that I had SPF in it. No, I burned like a lobster.
Oops.
It was fantastic though.
Okay.
Now
Well,
I-
I'm glad you had fun, though.
Now I'm like peeling all over.
We need to go cabrewing or kayaking or something.
Yes.
Dude, that's like my favorite thing to do.
You and David and me and Tim, we should do
Mm.
that.
Yeah, that would be fun because I have a lot of good memories of actually when we went with Pat, her cousin Pat.
Yeah.
We went cabrewing with them, and I remember we got all the way to the end to where we were about to get picked up, and we survived it all. But as fate would happen, you're having beers the whole time,
Yeah.
and then when you get to the end of it, you've had way too many, and so we're floating along in the canoe. Remember, because we had bungee ties and we tied
Oh,
ours
yeah.
in-
We tied our canoes together.
and so we get about 5 minutes from like unload time or to dock or whatever. And something happened. Hayden was young. I don't think Jack was with us because he was really, really young. Canoe flipped over.
No, well, I remember this in slow motion.
You didn't even remember the whole experience until I just,
I didn't, but I do remember this one point.
okay.
I remember Tim had had a lot to drink, and I remember he started leaning.
No.
And he kept
I
leaning.
know what's happening.
And then the whole canoe leaned with him, and the whole thing in slow motion tipped over.
Listen,
Man.
that may or may not be true.
It was absolutely true.
But Tahliah, the canoe did flip over.
And you were the cause of that.
And I will tell you this: there was two things that that I was concerned about. One, Hayden, because he was young. I was like, "Is Hayden alive?"
Oh, he can swim.
And I saw him
He started
bopping.
floating down the river, and I had to hurry after him to catch him.
That's true. And my beer.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
very concerned about his
I
beer.
wasn't
the
worried
beer.
about you because you're an adult.
I'm an adult. No, I was going after the kid who was floating down the river.
He was floating down the river. You got Hayden, and I got my beer, and
That's
everything
right.
was.
And then we all came out okay.
There
everything
is
was fine.
something to be said about relationships and kayaking or canoeing trips. My first, I don't know, the 4 dates in one that David and I had in one day, we had a canoe trip and it was horrible. I mean, it was the best trip because I ended up figuring out that I was going to marry him
Well, why was it
Aw.
horrible?
because everything broke. Like the seat in the canoe broke, the paddle broke. I mean, everything was like broken. We flipped over a couple times, but it was fun.
Wow. Well, then what about that day made you want to marry him? You didn't think he was bad luck because everything fell apart?
No, right. Mainly because he like kept us cool through all of the
Aw.
broken stuff that happened. Yeah, we ended up, going to escape room and got out of that on time, which was good. Went to dinner with his brother and his sister, well, brother and sister-in-law. And then we went to the drive-in theater down at the Pink Cadillac, watched
Oh,
double
yeah.
feature.
Hickman County, Pink Cadillac. Gotta love it.
Yep, we did that. Double feature, but my car battery died.
Oh, my gosh.
And like the whole time, he was just cool, calm, collected, like all day. I was just like, this is the guy.
You got to keep your
Aw.
cool whenever a canoe flips over, because
Oh, for sure.
the thing is, though, is at least out here, I don't know if it's different for people that are in other areas, but the Harpeth River is usually where we go canoeing, is usually pretty low.
Yeah,
But
but you drag a lot.
And you drag a
Yeah.
lot. But that place that we flipped that thing over, it was pretty deep because I didn't touch the bottom.
Right.
And there was a brief moment where I thought I was going to die, and nobody cares.
And you thought your beer was going
Aw.
to be lost forever.
It was. I was really concerned about it. But remember,
I was just concerned about the kid floating down
I
the
saw
river.
Hayden. He was bobbing up and
He was
down.
bobbing. I was going after him.
But yes, you can tell a lot. Like if David kept his cool in that, that's good, because when you flip over, it's like panic.
Right.
It's like immediate panic, because you have like your cooler with your sandwiches
Your
and
phone in the
got
waterproof case that's floating down the river, too.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we're poor, so we put things in Ziploc bags.
Same.
Right.
And so this is before phones were like waterproof. It's fine now. They just float to the bottom of the river or lake or ocean or whatever. But you got to keep your cool on it, because all your shit's like,
Going everywhere.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I did find a really cool water squirt gun the last time I went kayaking. It was fun.
well, that's good. So you went down you said you did the Piney River. I
Mhm.
never done that one before.
It's been like 10 years since I've been there.
Is there like a drop-in point and all that, or companies
Yeah.
that do it, or did you just go on your own?
You have to go
We-
solo out there. This is
we-
Hickman County.
Well, not true. I mean,
Really?
well, the place we went to, we had to pay like a fine to put our kayaks and canoes in. But yeah, we brought our own kayaks, so yeah, we didn't have to pay for anything. But
That's cool. But there wasn't somebody to drop you off and pick you up.
no.
Yeah.
n-
So it's more of
good
like a
to-
self-contained thing. You got to do your own
You know what
stuff.
I'm talking
But-
about over there, like Froggy Bottom
Yeah.
and all that for the
but they
Harpeth.
do have the warden out, and the warden definitely caught my.
Whoa, warden! What are you talking about? Like
The
a
game
game
warden,
a
yes, the game
for
warden, yeah.
what?
For fishing license, and make sure that you're not having an open container, and make sure that you don't have glass, and to make sure that you're got your license and your life jackets, all
Okay,
of
So
that.
did
they'll
you-
stop you like while you're floating down the river?
Yeah.
Oh.
The
Okay,
craziest
did you
part,
break the law?
No, I didn't. But the
Did
craziest,
David break the law?
no, he didn't get to go because his back hurt.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's another story. No, we were floating down, and my nephew, he is like the biggest fisherman ever. I guess he gets that honest because it comes from our family lineage, where our maiden name is Fisher. Anyways,
Oh, didn't know that.
well, my grandpa. Yeah, last name's Fisher. Regardless. Anyways, he was fishing, and so was his girlfriend, and the only fish that they caught the whole time was right there in front of the warden. And we got it on tape. It was the funniest thing. I was just like, oh, I'm pretty sure the fish was fake. Like, I think the warden.
What?
No. I think the warden, had like a little remote control fish or something.
Oh my God. Probably.
Well, that's fun. So we do need to plan to go do that, because that's always fun.
That would be fun. And honey, you've never been fishing, have you?
I went fishing when I was 10 years old, 10 or 11. I don't know. You know what? I don't even want to tell you the time frame because every time I say like a time, it's like always off by
Very wrong. It's always very wrong.
it's like off by 5 years or whatever.
It's fine. It's fine. When you were young.
I was like 10 or 11
When you were a rugrat.
and my dad took me fishing and like we didn't catch anything. We were there for till the end of time.
Yeah.
And finally, 10 minutes before we left, we caught a fish. Now, it wasn't a little one and it wasn't like a big one, but it was like one that was like, hey, you can eat this thing. And I remember telling my dad, I'm like, I'm so happy I caught this fish. Are we going to take it home? And he was like, no, we're going to throw it back. I was like, well, what was the point of fishing for? I was going to eat it. We threw it back. So I didn't even get to take it home and eat it.
Aww.
Well, I mean, I
sad.
wanted the experience of like taking it and cleaning it and doing all the things. Actually, I didn't want to do it. I was going to watch my dad do it. But I think that in retrospect, it was probably like he didn't know how to do any of that. So we just threw it back.
Well, do you like fish? I mean, we love Bonefish.
Yeah.
We go to Bonefish Grill all the time together.
Bonefish,
So
that's
I
a
didn't
good
talk about
place.
that.
We haven't been there in forever.
But
Last time we were there was with you guys.
yeah,
but
bang bang shrimp. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love fish, and I mean, I eat fish all the time. But back then, I was really young. But I remember thinking that, like, I mean, I didn't have like this reality of like you need to go out and catch your food or this hunter mentality. I've never had that. But I remember thinking when I was a kid at the time, I'm like, okay, you catch this fish because that's what we're going out here for. You take it home.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was just one, we're going to clean it, eat it. And my dad was like, no, we'll just throw it back. And he threw it back. And I was like, but I was still happy that
Yeah.
I was still happy
You
that
still
I
caught something.
Did you take a picture with it? Like make sure
No,
the
well, I
camera
mean-
was closer so the fish looked bigger.
Come on, Tahliah. I was 10 years old. So it's like we couldn't just whip out the camera
Right,
and do it. But I
No
remember
Polaroid.
there's no, this was like, shake the Polaroid.
Right.
But no, I caught that fish and then I threw it back.
I grew up watching my uncles like clean the fish because every year we have like all my family's from Michigan. Most of them are still there. And every single year we have a family reunion on the Rifle River in northern Michigan where my grandparents have some property. And, you know, you fish, you kayak, you canoe, all that stuff around there. And I remember just every year seeing my uncles at the side of the river, skinning the fish and prepping it. And so I feel like I've seen it enough where I could probably be pretty handy in that area. But I feel like also since you haven't fished since you was a young lad, that you're overdue.
Yep.
We need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, as a man,
I'll help skin it.
as a man, when you
I'll
get
cook it.
older, it's like people, you know, back then, I didn't really care about fishing when I was young, because I remember this was young, like 10, 11, 12, maybe in that era, because you just wanted to like do things with your dad. But then when I got to like 14, 15, I was just like, I don't care about fishing. I think I went another time and I didn't catch anything, so I didn't really care. But as an older man now, in my mid 40s, Tahliah,
Mm-hmm.
You're so old.
in my mid 40s, I can respect that, like, hey, go out on a lake or go to a pier, go to somewhere, wherever, and just be alone with your thoughts,
Mm-hmm. That's the best place.
throw the thing out, catch a fish.
Yeah, slow down for a minute and just
Well, I need
be in nature for a minute.
look, would you believe, Tahliah, if I told you that I want to do that, but she says that I don't deserve that?
What? No.
Surely that's something I've said at some point.
Yeah. She's like, you don't need to go fish.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't
believe
believe
that.
that.
Right. And
She's
in
like,
fact, I've
"You
told
can't fish. You
multiple
won't catch
numbers of
anything."
your son that for Father's Day or your birthday, they need to take you fishing. And I'm pretty sure I told them that last year too, but one of these years it's actually going to happen.
I want to go on a boat.
Your boys go fishing more than you do.
Like deep sea?
I want to.
Deep
Thank-
sea fishing?
Tahliah, thank you for asking,
So
because
good.
last time me and Jeems had a podcast, I told her that I wanted to go deep sea fishing. And you know what she said to me?
No.
I told him he was stupid.
She said,
No, I didn't. I didn't.
James.
she said, that is awful. You don't deserve that. You don't need
She
to do.
didn't say that. I'm going to go back and listen.
She didn't.
Liar.
That's just me in my head projecting onto her that she said that to me.
Thank you for your projection. It feels beautiful.
You're welcome.
No.
But no,
you need to go deep sea fishing. I think it'd be a great experience.
Well, I went deep sea fishing one time when I was in that same range because my uncles were all about it. But like, I was just too, when you're that young, it's like you can't do anything about
You
it.
can't appreciate it the way you can when you're older and you just want to escape life for a minute.
You can't appreciate it because when you go deep sea fishing, you're like catching like fish, not like, you go out here to Bowie and catch a fish that's like this big or something and you throw it back and whatever. But like, I remember when we went on that deep sea fishing excursion, I mean, they were my uncle and my dad and them were catching like these big ass fish. I mean, like big fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if they took them home and cooked them or whatever, but like I remember being on the boat and I remember them catching these big fish. But like as an adult now, I would love to go and do that, catch the fish, take them home, screw up cleaning them and doing it because I don't know how to do it.
And just chop it up and put it in some soup.
But the thing is like we're not doing it here, so it's not taking them home. We would be at the beach, so we can destroy whatever hotel or condo that we stay in there.
Yeah.
And I'd cook the hell out of that fish and eat it, and then Tahliah, know that I caught that fish,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna eat that fish.
And you're going to share it with me and Jeems.
I will share it.
Right.
I will share it. But there's something to be said about that. All these people that go hunting and do all these things, it's like you're going out and you're catching your food and you're eating it. And I worry that like if everything goes to hell, it's like I don't have those abilities to like support myself and provide for my family.
We'll have to put a survival class together for you.
Yeah, and I also
Yes.
think you would figure it out.
I would figure it out, but it would be nice to be prepared. But there's also the flip side to it that it's like very peaceful because you're not connected to, you put your phone away, you just sit there with your thoughts, do a little fishing, and then, in the midst of it, because I talk to people that fish all the time. A guy that I work with fishes and does all those things. Hey, did you catch any fish? No, I didn't catch any fish. Oh, well, that sucks. No, it's fine. Because like you got to,
He still had a good time.
yeah, he still had a good time. He's out there, fishing and doing his thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't do.
Well, I got a trip in October coming up to go kayaking in a
I
cave.
saw that.
Yeah.
You would
Where at?
probably love that. The underground caves in Kentucky. She's organizing a
What?
trip to go kayaking in the underground caves in Kentucky.
It's going to be so much fun.
I'm listening. Why
In
don't you tell me
October.
about that?
There's like 20 people already. Like, I'm in.
Okay.
Really?
Well, let's
That's
talk about that.
awesome.
What you got there? So how did this come up? How are you organizing this?
It's kind of funny, actually. Facebook, that's how it happened.
Okay.
It was a post that was like, bucket list, underground cave kayaking trip. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. So I like reposted it. And then all these other people were like, I want to do that. That's my bucket list. I want to do that. I'm like, okay. And then my event planning came in and I was like, okay, this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to just, put together an event, get all the information and be like, all right, I'm going to invite all these people that said that they wanted to do it and see if they actually go. So we'll see. See if
So
they actually go.
so I saw that and it could have been a repost from you. But on Facebook, I saw where there was underground kayaking and I was like, I want to do that right now. And then, you scroll past it and it was just gone forever. But you actually saw it and was like, hey, we're going to do this.
Yeah, because it's on my bucket list.
So you said you got a lot of people that want to do it?
Yeah, man. It's gonna be big.
I've seen the advertisement for that many times. I thought about sending it to Eli and Taylor because they're in Kentucky. But my only hesitation with it is I have some claustrophobia issues. So I'm wondering if that would be an issue, but also it'd probably be so beautiful that maybe I wouldn't even think about that.
And you'll be with me.
Yeah. Well, and obviously Tim too, because
No,
obviously he's interested in it. I'm not going if you're not going.
I'm going to go, but I don't need you getting all over me because you're claustrophobic.
And then
I'll get
flipping his
all over
kayak.
you anyways, baby.
God, you hear that? Listen to her over there. I'm just trying to go. I'm just trying to go kayaking in a cave, and she's trying to jump my bones, Tahliah.
Well, I did that on the river with David.
Whoa.
I'm just
Whoa.
kidding.
Jumping,
This just go.
jumping,
I don't think you're kidding. I think cheers.
jumping,
Good times.
jumping bones. But yeah, I saw that post and I was like, because I saw it. It was like I see the picture in my head, and it didn't look like it was like, just a small area.
No,
or
it
anything.
didn't
It
look
looked like it was
small.
pretty, and I'm sure they
But
made
I
it
don't know
more
if there's,
beautiful than
like-
it is.
I don't know if there's sections that are small. I think I'd need to call the people and find out.
So
There's a website.
what do you know about it? Is it like you get in at a certain point and they have like these caves that you go through?
And
guided.
where in Kentucky is it?
Shoot, you got me on the spot there. It's
a-
like it's 4 hours away from here, so it's not that bad.
So it's
that's fine.
probably more northern
Yeah.
Kentucky, I would
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I
Or
can't remember.
eastern Kentucky or something like that.
It's, like,
Okay,
north.
okay. But it's not like right over the border.
No, but it's like an hour and a half, and it is guided. So like you've got somebody that's professional that's taking you.
So you're not like floating off.
No,
So,
right.
like, hey,
Pulling
don't go in that little Y at the cave there. That takes you into like
deliverance.
yeah,
Oh my god.
like this waterfall where you go and die. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
no.
go this way.
No,
Yeah, we don't want to die.
no, there won't be dying.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool because I would really like to do that.
Well, let's look into it and we'll see if Eli and Taylor can go. We'll get somebody to watch Freya.
Yeah.
Because Eli would love that.
It'll be fun.
But
I'm
I just
just-
need to call the place first and make sure it's okay for claustrophobia people.
For sure, I'll give you the number.
Okay,
I
great.
just love caves and all that kind of stuff, and it's always interesting because Tennessee and Kentucky are like, the place that you go for caves.
Seriously.
And so when I saw that, I don't know if it was you reposting it. I think that maybe that it just came in my news feed or whatever, but like anytime that there's any kind of like cave excursion, I'm just like, I'm so interested in doing it. Like
Because you're a caveman.
I am a caveman.
I actually have always called Tim
Oh.
my caveman.
He is, man.
It's the wild beard, it's the stocky shoulders and the muscles.
All he needs is a big giant drumstick.
I've called him
I
two
know.
things. I've called him my caveman, and I've called him my Popeye because he's got these like massive rock hard forearms.
Popeye the
So-
Sailor Man.
Caveman and Popeye are my like alternate names for my husband.
Are you
love
done
it.
yet?
Never.
No, that's actually kind of romantic.
No, it's not romantic.
It's cute.
It's a
Let
little
me
bit.
throw you
but-
over my shoulder, babe.
but
Yeah,
Take
do
you to my
that.
cave.
when I was younger, like I was in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and we'd always go to Cumberland Caverns, which is I guess it's in McMinnville or something. I don't know, but we would go there on a Boy Scout trip, and we would be there for a couple days or whatever. And you go and you're exploring and you're doing all the things. And it was always, I remember it being a lot of fun. And I remember when I was a kid, I was just like, man, the caves are so cool. Like caves are just amazing because they have a certain temperature. It doesn't matter what
Mhm.
time of year it is. And so the caves were always so awesome. And so I've always been drawn to that, but I've never gone and explored any kind of cave or done any of that kind of stuff. And Tennessee and Kentucky and our neighboring states are like just full of all of them.
Yeah.
Well, we did one time
We did. and
with the kids.
I remember we took the kids and that was a lot of fun. And I really liked it a lot. But I think that I was talking to somebody else, maybe it was Joseph or Mike or somebody on another podcast about how, I just fear that because they have shows and like music shows in these caves, and it's like if they're the caves that I've been in, will I go in there and remember it different than what I remember when I was a kid? Because when you
Mhm.
go somewhere
Mhm.
and when you're a kid, you're just like, man, this is this amazing big thing. But then when you go back like 20 years later, when you're an adult, and you're just like, everything's so little, and I'm
I
like
have a funny joke about that actually.
packed in here. It's like I don't know if that's that with these caves. So I think that I want to go to the cave. I want to go kayaking in a cave and do all those things and see if it's little now or big and grand as I remember, because I would like to continue remembering things being big and grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a funny joke about that.
Okay.
So when I was little, I used to go with this lady all the time to East Tennessee, and she had like a dairy farm and everything like that. Anyways, we went to the Lost Sea, which is a underground cave sea. There's like water and that kind of stuff. Anyways, we go down there. Before we get there, she's telling me, "Yeah, I used to come down here all the time whenever I was little and everything like that." And I was a pretty witty kid. And I was like, really? And it's still there? Because she looked old. And she was just like, oh my gosh, are you calling me old? And I was like, maybe. But we went down to it and it was awesome. And so like 20 years later, David and I went and I was like, yeah, it's still pretty magnificent. It's huge.
Aw,
Well, that's what I wanted to know, because
good.
in my mind, it's like, I mean, I just hate it because all these things that, like, when I was a kid, I thought that were so grand, and then you see them later and they're not. And I remember when we would go on those Boy Scout trips to Cumberland Caverns, because you see all the crystals in the
Yeah.
cave.
Yeah.
And I have this memory of it just being magnificent.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm the same size as what I was whenever I went to the cave.
That's
So
true. Talia
I don't
hasn't
know.
grown since like she was
Fifth
12
grade.
years old or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of
She's little. She's fun size.
I don't think that it's
I love
Cumberland.
that.
I don't think it's Cumberland Caverns. It's a different cavern. But I was talking about this to somebody else, that like they have shows, like bands are more and more coming to like last December, I think Ben Folds was playing at the Caverns. And so it's like this thing where they rent out the space so you could see the show in
I
there.
bet the acoustics are amazing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I don't bring it up to you because I'm worried you're just like, I don't know, what if the sound makes the cave like fall in and then we all die and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, there's that, but whatever.
But they're
fine.
still there, okay? So
They're still there, and more bigger bands are wanting to play these kind of venues, because if I'm a band, I would think that that's kind of fun.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a
something-
really unique experience to give people.
Yeah. Well, and also it's like you can play there in the middle of winter, and when you're in a cave, it's like temperature controlled. You're at about 50 degrees. Obviously you need to wear like even if it's the middle of summer, you're
Mhm.
still going to need to wear a sweater or something, but those temperature controlled situations like that sounds like it's going to be awesome.
Well, bring that up to me next time it comes up, babe.
Let's do it.
And I'm thinking we should go ahead and commit to Talia's October kayaking in the caves, and I will just deal with my fears.
Yes, you can do it.
I can do it. I can do it.
Well, Talia, let me tell you this.
Exposure therapy is the best.
Exactly.
Let me tell you about her claustrophobic nature. A couple nights ago, we went to go see Incubus,
Oh, man, I love them.
They're awesome.
and it was awesome.
It was the best concert ever.
So when we left, I don't know if you know this, but everybody was leaving at the same time because the
Well,
show was
yeah,
over.
that's how, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like crowds either, though.
And there was like a bunch of people, and then she was like, everybody's trying to get to the escalator at Bridgestone to leave the place, and she's like, oh, like reaching onto me. I'm claustrophobic. I'm like, yeah, there's 1,000 people here.
Yeah, it was 1,000 people all like funneling into one escalator, and it was just like, I feel like I'm gonna get trapped. So my claustrophobia is specifically like when I feel like I can't get out, or when I feel like I'm trapped, then I suddenly start getting into the panic of like I can't breathe and like I'm freaking out. Luckily, I didn't freak out. I just held on to Tim's shoulders and I breathed and I got through it okay. I survived.
I'm not very comforting.
No, he's not. No,
It's okay.
but yeah, I mean,
I'm just trying to lead the way to get the hell out of there. So, because I don't want to be around all those people either.
yeah, it wasn't being around people. It was the fact that they were all compacting and we were in the middle of it. And then I felt like I wasn't I was getting trapped.
Yeah. As a trauma therapist, I still have.
And it's
Stuff
totally
like
a
that.
trauma
Yeah.
PTSD issue I
Yeah.
have. And I've tried EMDR and things to get over that specific thing, and it hasn't worked. That's literally the only PTSD thing I still deal with from previous relationship with psychopath. But luckily, I handled that night pretty well.
You were fine.
I held onto your shoulders, and that made me feel more safe.
But me and Tahliah are worried about you in October if you're going to be.
I know.
okay.
I mean,
I
I'm
think she'll
worried
do
about me
okay.
too, but I think it'll be okay.
I got some skills for her.
It is open air.
Yeah.
So even if things are coming down, it's like, I know I can float out.
Hey, I had a recent experience like that.
Did you?
Yeah. David's 40th birthday was this year, and
Oh,
took
he's getting
him-
old.
He's
Yeah.
so old, even though we're both older than him.
R.I.P. David.
I know, right? Don't say that. I love him. Anyways, he really wanted to see Kill Tony. It's like it's a podcast actually.
It's a podcast.
comedian
and,
podcast.
Yeah, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yes, and David loves them. Anyway, so I got him tickets.
Well, hold on a second.
Yes.
Kill Tony Tony has come up with this. I guess it works, but it's like he has a show. I don't know if he does it all over the place or whatever, but they bring a bunch of comedians that aren't known or maybe some of them are known.
Like up and coming comedians?
Yeah,
Or first timers.
up and coming
yeah.
and first timers, and then they like judge them, and it's all funny, and it's like
And it's all on podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty raunchy. I love
podcast.
it.
Okay.
Actually, Netflix actually released like an episode.
Yeah, we were on it.
Oh,
You
really?
were?
Yeah.
Was it here in
For
town?
the Nashville one, yeah.
So yeah.
Oh,
But anyway, so Kill Tony. Go ahead.
Okay.
So we go, and it's April 5th, and as you know, in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, we like to have tornadoes randomly pop up everywhere.
That's
Of
true.
course.
And when you go into a comedy show, you have to put your phone in like this little case, and they lock it. And I'm like freaking out because my son is at home with, grandma and everything like that. And I'm like, there's tornado warnings right now. I mean, legit tornado warnings. And I'm like, this isn't good. Like, I'm freaking out. As a trauma therapist, I'm like doing all the skills, like breathing, grounding, all of it. Woosah.
Good way. Good job practicing what you preach. Yes.
Yeah. And so I look at David, and he could see the terror in my eyes. He was like, honey, it's okay. I have my Apple Watch on.
Aw.
There you go.
Good.
I was like, I'm so proud of
As
you.
usual, calm in the storm.
Yeah, he's the calm in the storm. And then once the show started going, like Tony was just like, listen, I know that there's like tornado warnings and everything like that going on. We'll let you know if we need to take cover. So after that, I was just like, this is the best. It was so fun. But then afterwards, we were all leaving, and I was like, dang, let's just wait till everybody else leaves, and then we can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I would have done that too.
I always have a plan.
Airplanes are a problem for me. Elevators are a problem for me. And the airplanes, the biggest problem for me is when you land, everybody stands up.
Mhm.
And we're, of course, not first class people. I would love to be, but we're not.
Hey, don't.
So,
I mean, we can lie. We can be like,
oh, I mean, we always fly first class, sure.
I mean, I've been
But-
first class.
Like when everybody stands up, especially if I'm like in an aisle seat or the window seat, like I feel like suddenly I can't breathe. I literally have to turn the air on and point it directly at my face and I seriously have to work myself through those situations because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm trapped. I feel like I can't get out. And then I start feeling like I can't breathe and I start panicking and all that stuff. So yeah, that's a big situation for me. And like,
Perhaps we should train Frank.
yeah.
He can be your psychiatric service dog for the plane.
I mean,
Possibly.
he already is. He's very helpful.
Yeah.
and elevators, like seriously, it took me over a decade to be able to go into an elevator. And then even then, I still have issues if the elevator gets packed, which luckily has only happened in New York. But I'm in the back of the elevator. People
Which you're
keep
representing
piling
today.
in. Oh yeah, I'm representing.
love
I'm
New
wearing.
York.
I love New York.
Yeah,
to-
man.
I mean, I don't actually love New York. I just bought the shirt to support my son who's in New York. But
They don't make a shirt that says, I kind of like New York, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in New York, it's like you get in an elevator and people start coming in, you stop on another floor, more people come in, and you're getting slowly more and more jammed to the back. And so I had a couple of freakouts in New York. And then also in New York, it's like we were in this one particular hotel where you had to have like a key card
Mm-hmm.
to operate it, but I didn't know that. And I got in when other people were getting in. And then suddenly I couldn't operate it. I couldn't get the doors to open. None of the buttons were working. And I started freaking out again because I thought I was trapped in an elevator. Like, seriously, I was like, this is not cool. So that's where my issues typically tend to explode. But
So exposure therapy. We're going to have to do it.
so cave,
So,
I feel like I'll be able to do it as long as it
Mhm.
doesn't get too tight.
so why do you think that they take your phones and stuff at a comedy concert? Is it so that they? Because I was listening to Theo Vaughn over the past couple weeks, and he went to Qatar to do a show for the troops, and he was saying how he was upset because like there was film crews there, and he'd asked specifically not to have them there and all that. Is it because of the material,
Mm-hmm.
the reason that
Yeah.
they don't want it?
Yeah, I mean, like it's your own material and you don't want it to get out and then somebody else say, "Hey, yeah, that's my joke," that kind of thing.
Or in another version of the same thing, somebody's joke gets put on social media. Everybody's
Mhm.
heard it. They try to say it at the next show. Everybody's heard it. It's not funny anymore.
Or
It kills the routine.
they take it out of context and do the little
Yeah, that's true.
switcheroo.
Yeah, but I mean, even when we went and saw Incubus the other night, it's like as soon as the lights dimmed down, it's like all you saw was like a sea of like
Lights.
Phones.
phones like
Phone lights.
recording.
But it wasn't the flashlights like, everybody,
It's just their
the
screen
lighter. It
from.
was the screens. Like the whole audience was a sea of people recording. And I was like,
But I remember back in the
wow.
day.
It used to be lighters.
Well, it was lighters back in the day.
Well,
but
if it was the phone flashlights, that would have been one thing. But it was like everybody was recording.
Mm-hmm.
but
Everybody.
that's what I was gonna say. Is back in the day, it's like there wasn't this big issue of phones because your phone didn't record video, but they would say that like, hey, there's no recording or taking pictures or anything like that, which I guess people used to like back in before everybody had a camera on their phone. It's like people would try to smuggle in like a big ass Nikon
Yeah.
camera to like take pictures, but like now it's just kind of like what can you do about it? Everybody's
Right.
got it on their phone.
Yeah, it was honestly very disappointing to see so many phones, though. But like as the concert was starting, I was like, all these people are
Mhm.
so connected to their phones that they can't put them down for a second and just enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
We need to unplug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I took like 3, 4 photos the whole concert, and it was of the lights because they were fantastic. And then I took 2 videos of Jack and Zephyr rocking out because that was just like something I wanted to save for them. But other than that, like I didn't record any of the concert.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to just be in the moment.
Nah.
Maybe that's part of my retirement. I want to be in the moment. We should always be in the moment because it's important for us as humans to we're always like either future projecting in anxiety or in the past thinking about regrets. And so
Yeah.
it's really important for us to be present. And whenever you have a phone in front of you, you're not present. You're just
No.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I'm both. I like the technology and I think it's great, but also agree that there's certain situations. I think I remember it was years ago when phones and social media and all that was pretty young. I remember seeing people like trying to take video footage of whatever, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too. And so you're sitting there like holding your phone. And so you're like watching it through the phone when you can watch it with your eyes right
Right.
in front of you.
Yes.
And it's funny because my brother actually made the point that it's like, I'm never going to watch these videos again. And a lot of the people that are taking the videos, like immediately like posting it on social media, like,
Right.
oh, look what I'm doing right now. No,
Mhm.
who cares about that? Just be in the moment,
Mhm.
enjoy the show. And so at that point, I don't care about doing any of that. I was pulling out the phone I wasn't even recording. I was just, because we were at Bridgestone and look, Tahliah, we're poor.
Yeah, me too.
We were in the nosebleed section.
We had to get, we had to get,
There we go.
we had to get them seats in the back because we po. And so
because I'm retired, semi-fully retired.
Semi-fully retired. But I pull out the phone and zoom in on it. And I'm going to tell you something. The iPhone 16, it'll get right up there on that stage when you're about 400 miles away and you could see what was going on.
You can see better through the phone with that than you could straight through.
Well, they didn't have the big
Jumbotron thing?
They didn't have the big Jumbotron things on. Well, they didn't have them on like the ones that are like right up here in front of you.
Right.
But Incubus's team or whatever provided like the stuff on the stage. So they had like video of that so you could see it far in the back. And so when I was zooming in, I was like, what's going on here? And so I'd zoom it in and then they would start playing it on the video. I'm like, okay, I don't need my phone anymore.
Yeah.
But I wasn't recording.
So it was really just to see.
Yeah, it was just to see.
I am so glad that they didn't have phones back when we were growing up, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Same.
I remember this one time we had like this bonfire over at Carla's house, Clay's house. And yeah, we rolled like the whole orchard and everything like that. Do you remember that, Tim?
I don't know. We did a bunch of dumb things.
We did a lot of dumb things from what I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we did all of those things, but I always tell people now, like,
but you were living in the moment.
Yeah.
And if there were phones, would you have lived in the moment as much?
But more importantly, all these kids now, it's like if you want to become like a congressman or something, it's like that shit's going to be on record.
Yeah, true.
Like that one time whenever Clay like pooped in the ceiling. Is that true? Like I want to know about this. Yeah.
You guys want me to tell you that story?
Yeah, yes. I've heard this story, but Tahliah needs to hear it and confirm that it was actually true.
I need a confirmation from Timbo, the best friend.
Truth. He's told me this story multiple times.
Well, this is why, listeners, this is why we did not have phones back in our days.
Right. This is a good reason for not having phones.
This is why.
Well, I'm happy to tell this story, and I haven't told it on this podcast before because I didn't want to take my good friend's Clay's name and rub it in the mud. Which
he's the best. Like that's not that.
I personally think it's hilarious.
It's not rubbing it in the mud.
It's not.
Clay has always been a wild card. I didn't know him. He died right before you and I met. But every single thing I've heard about him, he was a wild card.
And Clay was my sister's boyfriend, fiance, and so he's like big brother to me, and I learned a lot from him and Timbo.
So I can tell you this story. And to me, it's really funny because like I remember it vividly. So when we were in high school, we were in band together. He played like a saxophone or something. And so him and I had become fast friends when we were, I don't know, probably freshman or sophomore or something. But anyway, we had this drum room. There's this drum room here, and then there's the big band room where it's like this big, I don't want to say auditorium, but it's just like a big ass room or whatever. So we had the drum room, which was like the drummer's area because we put all of our drums and stuff in there. So it was pretty big, and the ceilings were really high. So it wasn't like drop ceilings or anything like that was low. It was drop ceilings that were pretty high.
Yeah.
And so across the hall from the drum room was an office. It was like Mr. Steger's office. He was our band director. Mm-hmm. And so if you go into Mr. Steger's office, there was like this closet thing inside of it. So you go into his office, and there's like to the right, there's a desk and everything. And to the left, there was a door that went into a closet. So we realized that if we crawled into the ceiling in the drum room, we could go into the ceiling and over into his office.
Oh, gosh.
So we thought it was fun and games that we're just like, because when we were in band, it's like, it's funny with Clay because he played saxophone. He was supposed to like be in all of that stuff. But like the drummers, Mr. Steger never knew what to do with the drummers. So we were just kind of like on our own with everything.
Right.
And so if we left the room, it's like nobody would care because he's like, Mr. Steger's like, we need to do this. All right, trumpets here, this here, this here. So the drummers would leave the room and we would go into our drum room and we would hang out. What I would like to tell you, Tahliah, is that the drummers would go into the drum room, smoke weed or smoke cigarettes or do any of those things, but we never did because we were a bunch of squares. But we just would leave to go in there to be like, we're hanging out in here. So Clay comes in there. He would find an excuse to like go to the bathroom or do whatever. So he'd come in there. He'd come in there and we would be hanging out, like me and him and a few other people. And he would be like, hey, let's go into Mr. Steger's office. Okay. We go to Mr. Steger's office. So in our drum room, on one of the walls, we had like these boards that were shelves, and they went pretty high up, and we would store our drums on them.
Mm-hmm.
So Clay's like, he's like, watch this. And so he'd jump on the thing and jump on the other thing, the other board, and then jump on the top board. And we're like, Clay, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, oh, watch it. So he pushes up the ceiling of the drop ceiling there, and he moved it aside, and he climbed up in the ceiling. I'm like, whoa, what's he doing? And
He's so cool.
Clay's so cool. So he goes, just rebel, you know. It's funny because I say rebel, but rebel in these close parameters because we never like caused trouble.
Because you were still squares.
We were very square. We weren't like, it wasn't like we're in the principal's office all the time. We were just like doing dumb shit all the time.
Right.
So he climbs up in there and he goes into Mr. Steger's office. And so he's like, hey, watch this. So you go in there and then he would go down in Mr. Steger's office. The lights were off. The lights were off. The doors locked and all that because Mr. Steger's like teaching class. And so we go out of the drum room and look over there and he's like waving. He's like, we're like, that's so cool. So then that would be the end of that. So then like as time went on, we would do like more risque things. So Clay went up into the ceiling one time and he was like, I'm going to take a shit on top of Mr. Steger's office. And we're like, oh no, you're not going to do that. So he goes up there and you know what Clay did, Jeems?
What did he do?
He took a shit on top of Mr. Steger's office.
He got in so much trouble for it too.
What happened?
He just went up there and took a shit. And
I know, but what happened afterwards?
He came down and there was nothing that happened with any of it because no one knew because we were just doing all that because he wanted to take a dump above Mr. Steger's office so that his office would stink. Because he was the enemy, James. Mr. Steger was the enemy. He was the teacher. He was the enemy.
You guys have any real issues with Mr. Steger? Or it was just like something funny to do?
No, he was.
Like, was he really an enemy?
Yeah, he hated us.
Oh, well, I wonder why.
Because he was a drummer.
Because I was a drummer.
Or because you were sneaking around and being nefarious.
So anyway, time goes on. We go up there again. So now we're all starting to go up in the ceiling.
Right, but did anybody ever smell or figure out the poop thing?
It smelled really bad in there. So we all start going up in the ceiling, and we're going like in all of the areas around this whole band area that we had. So finally, we go down into like Mr. Steger's office, and we're just like fucking with things in there. We're like, we moved his stapler.
Oh my gosh.
We did. He dumped
like something I would have done.
Just like the office where he puts it in the Jello.
My level of mischievous.
Yeah, same.
Totally being a square.
Well,
like, I'm going to move their stapler, see if they notice.
That's what we did. So we would drop down in his office, and we were like, so we'd always do like these band fundraising things. And so in that closet in Mr. Steger's office, there was like all of the M&Ms that you could ever imagine. All of the Hershey bars that you could ever imagine. So we dropped down in Mr. Steger's office and we're like, the door's locked. We can't get into this closet. And we're like, whatever. So the next few days, we're just like, the gears are turning. We're like, well, we don't have to go down into Mr. Steger's office to go into that closet. We'll just drop down in that closet. We'll be like SEAL Team 6 and drop down in something and do what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Get all them M&Ms.
So the next day we go in there, go up in the ceiling, go over, and instead of going down into Mr. Steger's office, we go down into the closet. And all of that candy, I'm telling you, Kit Kats, M&Ms, Hershey bars, Almond Joy, Mounds, Snickers, Reese's, anything that you could ever imagine. Of course, we were dumb kids. We weren't just like, hey, let's take a few.
Oh, no.
Were you like little raccoons?
We took all of it.
Oh, no.
And then we were selling it to people.
Oh, no.
That's evidence.
So if like it cost $1 to buy it or whatever, we were like, hey, let's sell this shit for 50 cents. So we would be selling it to everybody at school. They keep refurnishing it. And this probably happened once or twice until Mr. Steger was like, what's going on? And then we were stealing the candy and everything. And then we got caught.
You got caught?
We got caught.
I mean, that was probably obvious
Actually,
that was coming.
By we, I mean Clay got caught.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Only Clay?
Only Clay got caught because he kept going, because we were squares and we were just like, oh, no.
Not doing no more.
He kept on going in there and getting it. And then they started researching and they found out that Clay had shit in the ceiling.
How did they figure that out?
Because there's turd in the ceiling.
Yeah,
there.
but how do they put it with Clay?
I don't remember. James, I don't remember.
Did they run DNA on that? I mean,
I think that he probably pretty quickly admitted it.
Probably
back
did.
in the, yeah, we got in trouble. Or he got in trouble.
He got in trouble. What happened to him?
Nothing big. I mean, he might have got suspended or got a slap on the wrist or whatever, or got in trouble, anything like that. But it was just funny because we took all that candy and we did all those things and Clay shit in the ceiling and we did all of that. And it's like, nothing happened. And it was really funny.
Which brings me to why I'm mischievous myself.
Oh, I would love to hear this.
No, I mean, like,
You do have a mischievous spirit about you.
we do a lot of mischievous things, like, giving you a couple hundred frogs in your office.
Yeah, you did do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, where does this stem from, Tahliah? Talk to
It
us.
definitely came from Clay.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
He was very mischievous.
Let's talk about the foundation of the relationships here between you, Clay, Tim, because you and Tim knew each other way before you and I met.
Mhm.
You and I met, instant best friends, ended up working together, love each other. But you and Tim were like brother and sister way before that, and Clay had a lot to do with that. So tell us the backstory on all these things, but also tell us why you're so mischievous.
Okay, we'll definitely do that. Let's see. I lived in Clay's house for a while, and he used to,
What age was this?
9, 10.
Why did you live with him when you were 9 or 10?
Because my mom passed away and Carla took us in. And Clay decided that he was going to be the big brother.
Okay. Clay was Carla's son.
Yes, Clay
For
is
our
Carla's-
audience.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Clay is Carla's
So your mom
son.
passed away. You moved in with Carla, whose son was Clay, and that's how you got to know Clay.
Yes. Which Clay was also dating my older sister.
Okay.
I know
Good
there's
point.
like a whole little
Yeah. No, that's a good
triangle
important
going
point.
here. Anyway, so Clay would always do like mischievous things. Like he had a dirt bike trail at the back part of the property, and we lived right behind Bowie Nature Park.
Mm-hmm.
So everything back there was just like free domain. There was no houses, nothing. And so I would ride horses back there. I just like explored, whatnot. And Tim and Ben, is it Ben? Purple Van.
Purple Van Ben.
Purple
That's
Van
what we
Ben.
should start calling him.
That's
Okay,
true.
so they used to love to pick on me all the time, and they used to tell me, "No, that van's not purple. You need to get your eyes checked. That's not right." Do you remember that?
So
No,
what was
but
the
I
age
believe it.
difference
Yeah.
between you and Clay?
10 years,
10 years.
I think.
So was
Yeah,
Clay the
'cause
same age as you?
He was a year
A year older, I
year and a
thought.
half or two older. But
So-
see, you got to
But
remember.
9 to 10 years
yeah.
was the difference between
But
you and all the guys.
But you got to remember back then, though, it's like Clay being a year or two older than us was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
in
was.
high school, it's
In
a big
high
deal.
school, it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter now.
If
But
you're a sophomore hanging out with a senior, I mean, cool, man.
Yeah, but a 9-year-old hanging out with an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
yeah,
So I wanted to be cool like them,
Yeah.
and I like followed them around and everything like that. And they're like, "Go away, you little rugrat!" Like I mean, I think they liked me. I thought maybe they thought I was cool. I don't know,
we were
But-
awesome back then.
but I thought they were cool, and they used to do some pretty crazy stuff. They would, have a band up in the barn and everything like that. And Clay was really big into paintball, and he shot me one time, and like he swore he didn't have any more paintballs in his cartridge, and he shot me close range too.
Oh,
And like
gosh.
I literally just dropped, and he was like, "I'm so sorry." Anyway, so Clay did a lot of mischievous things. I would say that I learned a lot of that mischievousness from him. But yeah, like some of my favorite things were just, going out into the backfield and blowing stuff up, or
Oh my gosh.
having bonfires.
That's what
and
you learn from these guys. To
yeah.
blow stuff up and have bonfires. Yeah.
bonfires. He would like jump over the bonfires. I don't know.
I
was
heard
just
he
really
did
cool.
that naked.
Yeah.
He did that at my graduation party.
I don't remember him being naked, but I do remember us taking a whole case of like Dr. Peppers or Sprites or in a can, and we would just throw them in, and then they would explode.
Oh,
Do you
wow.
remember that? I remember that.
I don't know. What I do remember is we would always have those fires out in his field back there in the back, and he set up this bonfire, and he put something in it, and I don't remember what it was. I can't for the life of me remember. Maybe Ben will listen to this and he'll say, "Hey, it was this."
Yeah.
But he put like this, because we would steal shit all the time and like burn it. So even at my graduation party, like what we would do, the admission to my graduation party is like you had to steal something from the school that we were going to burn.
Oh my
Oh, no.
gosh.
And so there's like there was like, books. People bring books. Some of them would bring like I don't know what they are, pulpits, stands, or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
People would stand in front of them, and somebody would steal that and bring it. But anyway, like Clay had stolen this bench, this park bench, probably as long as this table, and he put it right in front of the bonfire. And he was like, "Well, we can sit here and we can watch the bonfire." Okay, that sounds good. And so we start the fire and it's burning and we're sitting in front of it, and it's really hot. We're like pretty close to it. I was like, "Clay, this is too hot." He's like, "No, it's fine." And so all of us like get up and leave and like go stand back further because it's too hot. And he's just like trying to be tough Clay. And he's like, "No, I'm going to sit here." Whatever he put in the fire, like caused an explosion.
Oh man.
It blew up and it shot the park bench back.
Oh my gosh.
And he fell back at it. And he was like, "Oh, fuck this." And he takes the bench and throws it in the fire and burns it too. And I'm just like, "What did you put it?" I can't remember for the life of me what was in there, but it was like an explosion and blew him back. And we'd gotten up just in time, and he had singed like his eyebrows
Oh
and
my
his mustache
gosh.
and beard and everything. And
Ben Holt, please tell us what was in that bonfire.
I can't remember for the
Purple
life of me
Van
what
Ben. Purple Van.
Purple Van Ben.
Say
Purple
that.
Van Ben. We need your help here.
But yeah, Clay was funny, man. He was he was always up to some shenanigans. But again, even Clay was like the more riskier. He was more risque than the rest of us, but in retrospect, it was still like within the
parameters of a square.
Yes.
the parameters of like not getting in trouble. It's not like we were out like doing drugs and drinking and doing all this stuff. Like if we were drinking, it was just like, oh, hey, we got this. And we're just like,
A wine cooler or something.
Zima.
Zima. I remember the Zima days.
We got some Zimas, but
Clay was really cool. I mean, he was probably the sweetest guy ever. My like first heart, my first love in the entire world was Justin Timberlake from NSYNC.
Oh my gosh. Did not know that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. We have the same birthday. Anyway, so
Good to know.
Clay and Tara decided to surprise me for my birthday and get me like VIP backstage passes to NSYNC.
Really?
Yeah. And he was like, Clay was actually excited about it. And he was just like, yeah, we're going to go. We're going somewhere. They didn't tell me where we were going until like we were on our way. And Clay was like, yeah, we're going somewhere. We're going to a concert. And then like we get there and it's NSYNC. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like fangirling. Yeah. Screaming my head off. Well, Clay got sick and we had to leave early when I didn't get to meet.
Oh no.
I didn't get to meet them.
yeah,
But
you know what? You could have been with JT this whole time.
I know.
But
I'm
Clay
hoping.
Clay messed
I'm
that
hoping.
up.
Yeah,
He
Yeah.
messed that up.
he did. It's okay. It's okay. One of these days.
But that was a sweet
Yeah,
sentiment.
yeah.
They did that for you.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
he was all about it with me. He was just like,
Aw.
yeah, NSYNC singing the songs with me. Yeah, can you believe that? He sang the songs.
yeah. I'd make fun of him if he was here.
I
But
know
of
you
course now like I would sing it with him.
Yeah, you would.
You know what's funny? It's like now that like
He's tattooed on your arm, by the way.
this
Yeah,
is
he
kind of jogged my memory a little bit that Clay had this little S10. He died in 2001. And so he had this 1999 or 2000 because he bought it new. It was like this S10, and it was like you have the seats in the truck, but then there wasn't like the crew cabs like there are now, where you have the door to get into the back. It's like you move the seat up. I had a Frontier like this where there was like seats in the wall of the back
Yeah.
seats in the wall, and so he had this little S10. And so I was working at back then it was Albertsons, which
I remember that.
which is turned into Publix because he worked there too. This is funny because it goes back to the whole him stealing that candy in the office. Like he got a little bit harder on it, and so like he would take that little S10 when we worked at Albertsons, and he had some kind of connection where he'd drive back in behind it in the loading docks and steal electronics.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Electronics,
Oh my gosh.
candy, all of these things. And
He's bold.
I remember he was driving his truck, and
There's nothing they can do about it now.
yeah, I know.
Right.
Somebody sitting in the
R.I.P.
passenger seat.
Clay.
R.I.P. Clay. Somebody sitting in the passenger seat, because I remember I was like sitting, it's like, I always remember when like Clay bought the truck, he's like, look, I got these seats in the back. And like he pulled the seat down.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah, we got seats in the back. It's all fun and games until you're like the person sitting in that seat, and had seat belts and everything. And so I got off work one night because I was working there. And he's like, hey, we got to run around the back. And so like I'm sitting in this seat, like, I wasn't as
Why were
fat.
you sitting in the back instead of the passenger seat?
Because somebody else, I don't remember if it's Ben or somebody else. Somebody else is in the passenger seats.
I thought maybe you just weren't cool enough to sit in the front.
No, I mean, look, we,
You're an
sometimes
influencer. You're cool.
now
Yeah.
I'm that. Talia, I don't know if you know this, but I got 290 viewers on
Awesome.
On YouTube?
the YouTube. Yeah,
On YouTube.
just wanted to make sure everybody knew that I was
Yeah.
an influencer.
He's like famous.
But anyway, so we go around to the back of Albertsons there. And I'm like, Clay, what are we doing? I don't want to get in trouble. And he's like,
I'm a square.
he's like, no, it'll be fine. Yeah, no, it'll be fine. He fucking pulls up to the dock over there, and they load his truck with cameras, candy.
So there was other people helping him.
Yeah, man, we had a whole routine.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know if he was selling it or what he was doing.
And
It's like,
cutting them in or something.
it didn't last long. It was like he just, I don't even remember if it was like there's somebody else in it or he just put shit out on the side and he went and picked it up. But I remember we loaded the back of that little S10 up with me, whoever the passenger was. It might have been Joel, the passenger, me in the back, and then like all the shit in the back of the truck, which weighed the truck down. It was enough to like where it was like driving home, it was like pretty weighed down.
Pretty sketchy, huh?
Yeah, it was
Wow,
sketchy.
that's a lot.
I only did that once, but I remember he was, like laughing all the way home. He got all this stuff or whatever, but I mean, it was like one time.
It's just one time.
Well, one time for you, but for him, it was probably a few times because he had a routine, apparently.
I don't know, maybe.
But it
maybe
doesn't
not.
matter.
But if,
R.I.P.
but
R.I.P. Clay.
but it was that's just he never got caught,
Well, that's good.
and it was always.
Not that I condone theft.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, I could.
There's too many cameras out there these days.
Well, yeah, but back then the cameras weren't
No.
a thing. So
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
This is why it's good that we didn't have cameras back then.
I probably don't need to tell more stories of this
no, you
because
should.
there's some things that happened in Fairview because there was no cameras that we did.
The sign at
No.
the middle school.
Stop.
I'm not going any
Stop.
further. I'm
No.
just referring.
I still feel like I will get in trouble for that, so I don't want to do that.
Okay, cool.
But back then,
still a square.
it's like motion detectors were like the big thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny because a motion detector, if it sees motion, all it happens is a light comes on. It's like
right.
nobody's
There's no
gonna,
camera and evidence involved.
Yeah, nobody's gonna see
Yeah.
you. But we would go to Circuit City, and there would be like display like cameras and stuff like that, and we'd be like, "Hey, Circuit City person,
Tara.
show me like how this camera works or whatever."
Did she work there?
She did. She was a manager there.
Oh, okay.
And they would like show us like how it worked or whatever. And we went, oh, that's great. And then they'd go off and do something. And then like me, this is my big thing. It's like I took a camera, I put it in my pocket, and Clay was like walking around. I remember PlayStation was big at the time, PlayStation 1 or 2 or something. And I was like, we need to go. We need to go. He's like, and he knew immediately. I was
He
like,
knew what that meant. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, we need to go. He's like, okay. We go out the door and we leave, and I pull this, display camera out of my pocket, and he's like, oh.
Oh my gosh.
But it's funny. We did a bunch of dumb things like that. We never hurt anybody, Tahliah, so don't yell at me. But we did a lot of dumb things like that.
That's okay. Jeems and I have done some not so dumb things like that, but we like to be mischievous.
Yeah, but you're not out there going to Circuit City stealing anything.
No, we definitely weren't
Theft
stealing
wasn't
anything.
on our list of things.
But I can say that, like, when you got old enough, Circuit City wasn't around. And
Circuit City was still there.
Did Circuit City turn into Best Buy, or did it just go off the map?
no, Circuit
It's now
City.
Cross Point.
Circuit City.
No, that particular location,
Yeah,
yes.
Circuit City and
Cross
Best
Point.
Buy were like competing with each other because
Right.
Best
So what
Buy
happened
came.
to Circuit City?
It's
Nobody,
now Best Buy.
no MP3s happened, streaming happened, all the things
So
happened.
they just like went bankrupt?
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon happened. It's one of those.
Yeah.
And Best Buy is about to fall victim to that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did a bunch of things like that. It was funny back then. It's funny because I haven't thought about any of that stuff in years, but it happened.
Well, now I just do it in tutus and streamers.
Tilly and I have a habit of showing up at events in matching tutus and outfits and raising the roof.
Yeah.
Raising the roof.
Yeah. So Jeems and I met each other because of working at the church together. I like stole her job. Actually,
Yeah, she did.
I did a
No, I
silly
gave it
job.
to her.
She gave it to me,
I gave it to her.
which I worked with the coolest person in the
She
whole
was
wide
my
world.
replacement, and we both started off working with Myron, who is
Yeah, but it didn't
incredible
work
and a
out.
little bit wild and funny and crazy.
It didn't work out for either of you here at the end of it all.
No, in the end, it didn't.
But here's the thing.
No, that was
We're
just,
still really close. Myron and I are still.
Yeah, no, we love Myron. Myron, I told Tahliah, lesson learned. If you work with Myron, don't ever leave him.
Yeah, because he was awesome.
He was
He's still
awesome.
That's true.
It was other areas of ministry that burnt me and hurt me, and won't go into that right now. But like working with Myron was fantastic.
So much
And
fun.
so when I moved out of, Myron was the missions pastor and adult equipping pastor. And when I moved out of that role into another role with communications and guest services, Tahliah took that role with him. And I learned very quickly after that transition that, yeah, grass ain't greener on the other side. And I told Tahliah, don't ever leave Myron. As long as you're working for the church, don't ever leave Myron because he's awesome. So yeah, I got to train her. I met her right before she applied. I met her actually when she was thinking about applying. And I thought she was perfect, and Myron thought she was perfect, and she ended up getting the job. And I got to train her, which was awesome. I remember we took pictures on day 1 with the 3 of us, you, me, and Myron, and we took pictures on like day 3 and whatever. But yeah, Tahliah and I have a tendency to make silly videos together, show up at events in matching tutus. We wore matching outfits to VBS events, and we always have a lot of fun. Tahliah brings out the kid in me.
Yeah.
She makes me feel like a little child, and I just want to be wild and wacky with her.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
But I do have a funny story that I'd love to share.
Okay.
Do it.
I
Do
think
it.
you'll like
do
it.
it.
Sure.
Okay.
So there was a time whenever I was going to graduate school, and it was in Atlanta. And I have a very old, it's like literally on its last tire car. Okay. So I needed to borrow a vehicle, and my favorite person, Jeems, her son was in New York, and his car was here. And I asked her, I said, hey, can I borrow your car so I can, have a ride to Atlanta, Georgia? And she was like, yeah, sure. Have fun, do whatever. So I'm driving down the road, and like every once in a while, I'll just hear, I was like, what is going on? And I'm like, I can feel it. Like whatever it is, whenever I like stop,
I think I know where
feel
this
something.
is going.
You probably know where this is going.
I stop and I'm like, what is that? Is there a dead body? Am I carrying a dead body in the trunk of this car to Atlanta in the middle of the night?
Could have been. Could have been.
So I was like kind of scared. Like I will be honest, like I did not want to look at it. I was like, well, maybe I should wait till I get to Atlanta, or I don't know. Like, when should I do this? When should I open the trunk? And I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be bad. If I get there and there's cameras and maybe there's a police officer close by, I hope not. And I open the trunk whenever I get down to the hotel room. I get down to the hotel room. I open the trunk, and there's a damn toilet. A toilet. A freaking toilet in the trunk.
It wasn't a brand new toilet.
It wasn't. It was definitely a used
a
toilet.
heavily used toilet.
So I'm willing to take your shit with me anywhere we go.
Well, it's funny because that toilet.
It was in the trunk for months,
Like
but
6
we
months.
didn't know it because
We didn't know it because back when Hayden was here, I said, hey, I replaced the toilet that was in his bathroom. And I said, after, trying to install this thing, it's one thing when it's your shit.
Right.
But when it's someone else's shit, you're just like, you don't want to have anything to do with it. And I'm just like, Hayden, you need to take this toilet and take it to the dump. And he said, okay, I'll take it to the dump.
and I took it to Atlanta.
Which apparently he didn't.
6 months later.
6 months later.
We had no idea it was still in the trunk. We thought he took it to the dump.
Yeah, this is what we do for friendships.
Well,
Call each other's shit around.
Yeah, you carry their
Yeah.
shit with you.
he apparently didn't do what I asked him to do.
Apparently. And we didn't find out for 6 months.
What
But-
a shithead.
But when you got back, you know what we did? We took it to the dump.
Took it to
So,
the
I'm
dump.
so proud of you. Thank you.
Thanks for finding it for us. We had no idea because we didn't drive the car. So we didn't know.
It was really funny because I was there for a whole week with this toilet. And like people would be like, I didn't want anybody to ride with me because I was just like, I don't know if they're going to smell something or ask what that like heavy movement is. So I didn't say anything for a week to anybody that was at my class with me.
That's
But
so funny, though.
yeah,
Well, it's funny because you thought that it was like a dead body in there.
I
which
did.
It
probably-
could have been.
Yeah,
It
I would have thought the same thing.
I mean,
And-
if it was a dead body, it would have been my ex-fiance. But, you know.
Wow. I mean, calm down over there, James.
No, it's okay.
that's okay. I know how
It
to,
wasn't. I'm
Okay.
just saying, of all the bodies in the world that it could have been, if it would have been one.
yeah. I know how to dig holes.
All right.
I've seen this thing on Facebook where it says, all right, if you had to bury a dead body, who would you call? Yes.
Which I'm sorry, I didn't.
Noted.
Okay. So I did have a dead body experience recently.
What?
Yeah, no, not a human.
Okay.
Thank God. I can't handle that right now. No, I had this like 16-year-old 3-legged German short hair pointer that I was taking care of.
Yeah.
And he is not doing well. And anyways, I had to take him to the vet, put him down, bring the dog back to my house. And
Wait, after he was put down?
yeah, I'm poor.
Yeah.
I don't
You
have the
can't
money
afford to
to
have them
cremate.
bury him.
No.
Yeah, I
No.
get it.
So I just put the dog in the back
You
seat.
got trees. You can bury him next to.
You said you
Yeah,
had
I got
trees.
trees. I got trees. So I get home and I'm like, no one's here. I'm gonna have to dig a hole by myself. And it's hot.
Dang.
And I was like, dang, who do I call? So I call my son and he's like playing video games. He's just like, Mom, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm digging a hole. I said, is there any way that you can come here? And he goes, no, like I can't help you. And so he's like watching me, like he's FaceTiming me. He's like watching me and he's just like, that looks really hard. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to
Aw.
get off the phone with you because I gotta call somebody to help me, right? And David was having like some heart issues during that week. And so he was just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna be able to help you, or you're gonna be digging 2 holes.
Oh my gosh.
And so I called my sister, Tamara, the cool one.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes over and she's just like, we live right on 96. So like the police officers like drive through there all the time.
Watching you dig a
digging
hole.
hole.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then throwing a body
Well,
in
they
there.
don't
Not
they
knowing
don't
what's in
see
it.
that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Buddy was wrapped up in, that was the dog's name. He was wrapped up in a blanket. He wasn't in like a trash bag or anything. No, I don't do that. That's not cool. Anyway, so my sister like comes over and she's like digging this hole. My sister's like a little bit shorter than me and she's like mighty.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
she's 5 foot nothing and
She's small.
she's strong. Anyway, so she comes over and we're digging the hole and David comes out with some drinks, some water for us, and like he's not helping us because he would probably have a heart attack. And my sister was like, well, I know who to call if I ever have to bury a body.
Oh my
And I was like,
gosh.
yep, I know who I'm going to call if I need to bury
Oh
a body. So-
David needs to be on alert.
Yeah, so David was like, note taken. I will not do anything to make her mad. But here's the funny part is that there was, the police officers came by and like rolled by and they didn't stop and say anything as we were digging this
they
hole.
actually stopped by?
No, they just
okay,
rolled
they
by.
just drove. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably like a normal thing for them to drive by there
Yeah.
because they always sit there by the ball field. So
Yeah, they like to
Yeah.
sit at our little corner there.
you're
Well,
not.
apparently you can bury a body. And the Fairview police doesn't mind.
They don't mind.
Just as long as it's a dog. And I think they knew it was a dog. I mean, it was a small hole, but
Oh yeah, the length of the bag, the
yeah,
depth.
it wasn't a
of the
bag.
hole. It wasn't a bag.
No, it was a blanket. But still, I mean,
Yeah, blanket is more traditional for animals.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was really depressing, Tahliah.
No, but it was funny because like
But
she was
she's got a partner in
like
crime
I
for
would
burying bodies.
100%
Yeah, that's
would have called her, but she was in school.
You heard it here first,
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah, man.
This was when I was like busy working full time, school full time. That's not a cool life to live. I like the retired life.
Yeah, the retired.
Work on my tan. Work on
Fully semi-retired.
fully semi-retired, at least for the summer. I'll maybe start looking for a job in the fall. I'll go back to school in the fall. Maybe Tahliah will hire me in the fall.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I
I'd
mean,
love for her to work with
But
me
that's
again.
all for future thoughts. It's not for now. For now, I'm semi-fully retired. I'm doing whatever the hell I want every fucking day.
I
Okay.
thought about like coming over here and like throwing a big giant party for your semi fully
Retirement
retired.
party?
Yeah, yeah, and get you like a cane and everything. Like
I don't
all
need the
that.
cane. No, I'm still good.
Okay,
Like
cool.
I'm good.
So
I'm not
kayak
I'm not
trip,
I'm not
that's part
totally
of retirement,
old
right?
and broke down yet.
Yeah, we need to do that. I mean, I'm
We'll
not
do that.
retired, but I'll do that.
Yeah,
But my goal right now is to decompress from the last 8 years in ministry and focus on me and breathe and worry about the future in the future.
yeah, that's right.
That's my goal for right now.
Nah.
And I'm doing pretty dang good at it right now.
Because you the best.
I try to be the
You the
best.
bomb diggity.
I try to be the bomb. Actually, I don't try. I just do.
You just is.
I just do. I love you. You the best.
Yeah, so that's my stories.
That's your story and you're sticking to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got stories. I got stories. Jeems got stories, but
We do.
Oh wait, no, I do have one more.
I was gonna say before we wrap it up, tell me your last story.
What do
and
you
then
got,
we'll wrap it
Julia?
up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've already established that Tim and Jeems and Smeej and my husband and I Smeej. I'm acting like I have two personalities. Anyways,
She does have two names. She's Tahliah, but she's also Smeej.
it's Jeems backwards.
I'm Nikki, but I'm also Jeems. There
And-
you go. You're welcome.
And I am tattooed on Tim's body.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. See? Remember it's
Oh,
Smeej.
because Tim has Jeems on his arm, which
Uh-huh.
is me.
You're welcome.
yeah.
But if you read it backwards, it's
It's me.
Tahliah.
You look
So
at
we're
it-
both
You
on
look
your
at it,
arm.
if you look at it in a mirror.
yeah,
You look
that's
at
right.
it in a mirror, Tahliah is on my husband's arm.
So if things go south with me and James,
Gross. No.
I'll be like, Tahliah, just look at this in the mirror. It'd be fine.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Okay, anyways, back to the story. So once upon a time.
Sorry, David.
Once upon a time.
Sorry, David. What about sorry, James?
Seriously.
You would have been gone.
Well, that's true.
All right.
I
Okay.
did tell you I am going first.
Anyway,
I'm going to die so much quicker.
No, I'm going before him. I've already told him.
I tell David all the time, I'm going to die so much quicker. Like,
all right. You guys are dark.
we're morbid.
Anyway,
Anyway,
tell your story.
Fantastic. We're morbid but fantastic.
so here's the thing. So we love Bonefish Grill. When we go
Yes,
there,
Same.
when we go there, we always have to get the bang bang shrimp, and I always have to get like a pineapple martini. You know, we're gonna have to go here soon.
yeah, we should go right now.
Yes, I
Get
haven't
you a
tried the
smoked
pineapple one.
old-fashioned,
Yeah,
you know?
them boys and their smoked old fashions.
Yeah. Anyways, so on the way to our favorite place, we rode the back roads in the car, and
Another favorite pastime of
this is
mine
one
and
of my
Tim's.
favorite times. So, Jeems and I are in the front. Jeems is driving.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
David and Tim are in the back, and they have done some pre-gaming. You know, you
Mhm.
got to pre-game before you
I
go to
recall.
Bonefish.
I recall.
You got a pregame.
Because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't afford to have all your drinks at Bonefish if you're,
Let me ask
middle
you
class
this.
like us.
Let me ask you this, Tahliah. Is it okay to pregame every day in life.
Oh my God.
No. Which, I will say this. My sweet husband has been sober for 2 years now. I'm so proud.
Yay.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's
Yay,
very
David.
good.
We're
Yay.
so proud of you.
Yeah, it's been good on his mental health.
Yeah.
Good
And
on mine
yours
too.
probably too. Yeah,
Good
yeah.
on mine too. But
Anyway.
this story is fun. Okay, so on our way, one of our favorite shows back in the day called Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not one of my favorites, but I do love this story. I know where she's going.
So my husband is like, and like he can do Beavis and Butthead as well too.
As
And
well
so-
as my husband.
So they're in the back. We're gonna have to get both of them on here
I
at some
know,
point, and
I
they have
know.
to do it.
We need a recreation of
We
this.
have to.
Yeah.
We have to recreate. This is where like having a video and podcast is like cool for this age, but back in the day wouldn't be. Anyway, so they're in the back seat and they're just Beavis and buttheading.
They're doing a whole Beavis and Butthead like recreation in the back seat as we're driving home, and they literally sound just like Beavis and Butthead.
And
It
they
is
look
so
like
funny.
them too in some
No.
ways too.
Well,
Yes,
I'd be
do.
Butthead and he'd be Beavis because
That's
his
right.
hair.
That's right.
But you'd have to take David and give just like this profile, the
Oh,
side
look at that
profile.
deer right
There's a
there.
deer.
Oh my gosh. I want to like turn this. Can I turn this camera?
No,
I'm turning the camera.
James, what are you doing?
Don't worry, I'll put it back on Talia. in a
We
second.
like animals.
It's gone. Okay, back
It's
on
gone.
Talia.
Okay, okay.
great.
Anyways, so
Content.
content. Anyways, so definitely David is Beavis, right?
Yeah, he's blonde.
He's blonde. Well, actually, he's
I
white.
know.
And
I
he
have
has
trouble
long hair.
remembering who's who. I don't
He has
really know
long hair
Beavis
now.
and Butthead
Yeah,
that well.
You guys are. You just don't know anything.
All I know is you guys sound exactly like
Yeah.
them. Your
So here's
impersonations are
my
uncanny.
request. This is my personal request that the next time that we come over here, you and David have to do a Beavis and Butthead show.
Same. Agreed.
Yes. Perfect.
It's
Perfect.
better with the two of you.
Yes, it really is. It really is.
Because there's back and forth and conversation and stuff.
And
It's
people
hilarious.
need to hear it. They need to hear it.
I think we lost some of that initial audio that we recorded
Yeah.
because we've been trying to dig it up for years and we haven't been able to find it. So we need you guys just to recreate it for us, pretty please.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yay.
All right, Talia. We have gone through the gamut of all of our life together. But there's more life to share.
There's more life to share.
There's more Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
There's more more Clay stories.
Yes.
Yep.
There's more of everything.
That's right.
So until next time.
Jeems and Smeej take over.
Yeah, this is the takeover. I feel like it was taken over.
We win.
Goodbye to both of you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.